Hi Mel. Hi Annabelle. Welcome as we move into this window of the new moon in Virgo. Here is the Earth Koshi chime. Just gently bringing our attention back within. And I've got the beautiful... Hi Lizette. Hello. And this is the F note, so the heart bowl that is androgynous indium with Super 7. And she wanted to call us in this evening into rest within the heart space. These are such intense times for us on the earth plane. You know, whatever we use that we can bring in that allows us to take that extra breath or that extra piece of focus, including a cat that's obviously wanting to join in quite vocally this evening as well. So, welcome everybody. It's lovely to be back in here and to be able to do a new moon rose reading. I've really been quite absent from doing these rose readings. There's been such a lot of change and shift that are going on in my own inner landscape, and I'm sure there is for you too. These are really potent times as we move through towards the equinox, and I'm sure you're also feeling that each pulse of a new and a full moon, and of course the Lion's Gate and the other events that are calling us to attention as we move through this second part of the year. It just feels like we're getting into an even more intense container. And I have a very intense cat who's, if you've been following me on my personal page, will know that has had some health issues just recently, and she's been super intense tonight. So I'm hoping she's going to calm down. Yeah, new moon in Virgo, and I think it's about 2:40 tomorrow morning here in the UK, and at 22 degrees of Virgo. So we're really feeling the Virgo energy. We're feeling this shift that's going on, that's calling us to refine and align, perhaps to purify in our own foods, purify within the body, purify within our physical spaces. Again, this week I have been releasing more of my own pieces here, knowing that we need to travel lighter, to travel as light and as light as possible as we move through this particular phase of the journey. And I've really been aware as I tune in to this new moon just how much of the journey that I've had in this last year in particular with a group of energies called the Elemental Rose Dragons, really calling us into connection with the elements in the earth, air, fire and water, calling us into a new foundation, a new sense of sacred honouring of the earth and sacred honouring of those elements within ourselves, because we are of the earth. Every molecule of this vessel is of the earth. I am made up, my body is made up of earth, air, fire and water. And therefore, the more we bring attention to what Mother Earth is speaking to us through the lenses of those different elements, so we can have a different honouring of the fact that, you know, she gives us everything we need. Everything to sustain this body comes through and from the earth. So we can see what's happening in the world just now. We had the fires in Maui. We had we've recently had the earthquake in Morocco, and now these floods in Libya. So there is such a real sense that Mother Earth is speaking to us really loudly, and she is going through her own upshiftment of frequency as we are, as we move through these times of the age of Aquarius and this ascension timeline. And for me, ascension is very much a descension into the body. I spent much of my life trying to get out of my body, and chose a path of study with meditation and so on in order to get out of my body, only to realize, of course, that the only way is in, and this vessel is here as an alchemical pot for transformation. We can't do this without the body, and which is why, of course, it is said on the higher realms that as a soul, we line up, we queue up to have this experience with the senses and with our experience of being embodied, and here on the earth. I don't know, every time I go walk about locally here, or even if I get a chance to walk in the garden here, you just realise that there is so much beauty. I mean, beyond my passion and connection with the roses, it's just, the world is magical. And we as humanity, as a collective humanity, have not honoured that as being sacred. And I'm sure that that is why so many of us who have walked this way many times before are here en masse at this time, or whether having woken up as I did in 1993 with a full body Christed experience. It's just that it's taken me an awful long time to integrate the learnings and the wisdom along the path. But there are many, many thousands who are waking up in this particular window that perhaps contracted to stay asleep up until this point, when we know that we need a percentage number to create a tipping point within our experience here as the human family, the human community. When we say we are one, we are all facets of the whole, and we all are illuminated God sparks when we actually turn within to light the flame of the heart and to really activate to what we've come here to do, be and hold. So this is just such an extraordinary time to be here and part of this activation. So let's see what the roses have got to offer as wisdom in this new moon window. Mother Earth is calling us to be grounded. She's calling us to be present. She's calling us to be loving, compassionate witnesses to that which is unfolding. Hi, Kim. Hello from Wisconsin. Lovely. It's just always wonderful when you realize that there is such a connection. You know, if we have a frequency alignment to a particular pathway, that is our magic. That's our connection. That's the piece that joins us together. And it is such a blessing. And I do find that the roses do call a particularly lovely group together. It's, you know, that the pure heart, the pure love that is there in the Rosa Mystica, in the heart of the rose. And she's the one that does the calling. So let's see what the roses might have to offer us as wisdom for this time, wisdom and guidance as we move through this new moon energy. And as I say, it's about 2:40 in the morning tomorrow. That is the new moon exactitude. But we know that as we move into that place of exactitude, so the energies intensify. And it's always fascinating to know which, you know, some of us, oh, hi, Serena. Hello. Hi, Julia. It's lovely because, you know, some of us are really aware that we resonate with the new moon, or we resonate with the full moon. It's my daughter's birthday's coming up, and she was actually born on a full moon. So full moons have a connection for me, but it's, you know, this place of new beginning, new opportunity. What do we want to seed? What are we bringing our focus to in this window, in this dark moon? What's calling us? What's bringing us a focus? Whatever it is, it's inviting us to a new approach. It's inviting us to a new wisdom, a new understanding of ourselves in relation to this time. There's always a gift in the message if we get quiet enough to listen. And things are very busy right now. So actually gifting ourselves the time to just reflect, tune in, get quiet is always useful. So let's see what the roses have got to offer us. So the first rose that's come forward this evening is Rose Ma 10. And this rose is such a beauty. She's really connected in with Kuan Yin. This is the rose that says, I am compassion. How can we have a soft gaze on what is unfolding right now, so that we can see behind the experiences, that we can look deeper with a kind eye and a compassionate heart. This rose is an absolute beauty. She brings such a softness, and yet there's almost an iridescence to her, a luminous iridescence. Yeah. So perhaps you might like to just take a moment and just bring that sense of compassion into your own heart, and just allow your energy to just soften to receive that, and feel the heart expand. Sometimes it's compassion for self that this time is calling for. I know the last couple of days where I've been clearing another level of the past from my own physical space, and having to go through files or go through pieces that have got very potent memories for me. Compassion for self in the journey feels to be a real gift. And I'm just seeing that Serena's saying that she won a unicorn on the rifle range today. And it's sometimes interesting, isn't it? Because unicorn energy can often be seen as this sort of very pure and almost luminous, iridescent pastel colouring. So what is she saying? She's saying, where can you bring more compassion into your life at this point? Compassion for self, compassion for the world, and compassion for those around you that may be suffering in some way. And maybe that's through health, or maybe it may be a difficult life situation to deal with. How can you hold greater compassion for what's unfolding at this point? Let's see what the second rose might be that wants to come in. Hi, Pam. Hello. Nice to see your name pop up. So there's quite a few in from the States this evening. I'm spotting different names coming up through. Let's see what our second rose is. Wow. So second rose, Rose BaGua 3. And this rose, the BaGua is a box, it's a feng shui term, and it's a box, like a box that's divided into 9 squares. And each one of those squares holds a different aspect of our lives. And certainly for me, when I'm working with the BaGua, I'm working from the center, from the Tai Chi, from the health, which is Rose BaGua 5 in the middle, and really asking what is my heartfelt expression in these different aspects of my life, a different mandala. So this rose sits in the place of ancestors and teachers. I always feel that there's a connection to the wisdom teachers on the higher planes, where our guides will be, where we may receive nudges and interesting insights, inner teachings, intuition. And this rose actually is a tiny, tiny rose. She's about an inch across, 2.5 centimeters, and she smells of violets. Tiny, tiny rose with her petals are all shaped like hearts. So she's really asking us to get quiet and to tune within, to honor the ancestors, to honor our guides and those on the light realms that come to assist us on the journey. So perhaps just taking time to be receptive, to question on this dark moon. What is the wisdom teaching here? What is the insight that I need to be a receptive vessel for? And what might I need to ask? So many of our guides and teachers, angels on the higher realms, they can't step forward to help us unless we ask. So when we ask pure from the heart, the answers come, and sometimes they come in the most unexpected ways. So you need to move to what I guess Caroline Myss used to call symbolic sight. You want to look and see where the universe is sending the nudges, where the universe is showing you where there's light on the path, where, you know, and if you're knocking on a door that doesn't open, it might not be your door. And actually, when we stop and pause, something amazing can happen for us. So yeah, this is a lovely, lovely rose to work with. And as I say, tiny, tiny rose, and scented of violets. So that may have some significance for somebody listening. I always find it interesting, the different roses, the subtlety of the different scent of roses. There's another rose that's in the deck here that's called Woollerton Old Hall, and she smells of myrrh. She's a rose that smells of myrrh. And rose 4 in the deck is called the Chocolate Rose, and that's her name. And actually, when you come to smell her, her scent has got a sort of a chocolate edge to it, so it's quite interesting. So let's see what our third rose is for this evening. And it's Rose BaGua 7. Now, this rose doesn't often come up in readings. She's quite an interesting rose. I think she's a David Austin rose called Port Sunlight, but I'm not absolutely certain. But she sits across the axis of Rose BaGua 3. So Rose BaGua 3 is like where we receive the divine download or the inspiration or the nudge. And this rose is where it gets shared in the world. And this rose is all about children and creativity. So the fact that both of these have come up in this reading, there is a particular message here about receptivity and understanding that creative impulse will often come through directly from our guides, the ancestral line, but also the more we open up into a 5th dimensional field of frequency in the heart, then the soul star, which is our personal akasha, opens to allow us to have access and download higher keys and codes of light from previous lifetimes. So this is the work that we've all been doing since in the first Venus wave from 2004 to 2012. There was a real opening up of our understanding of the divine feminine. And this was in this period that the roses really activated for me, and then finally activating in the early months of 2010, when the Rose Oracle started to form itself. But we were activating the path at that point. And then from 2012 to 2020, we were integrating it. And we are now in the activation phase of what is calling to be created in being able to share the wisdom that we've garnered over this time. So if you look at this calling to creativity in children, this procreativity, which requires the masculine and feminine balance, obviously, to create children, but it's the same if you're birthing a new business, a new painting, a new book, a new beautiful supper. All of this requires us to be in balance and to be open to the flow of our own creative essence. So this is what this rose is offering us as insight in this time. What are you incubating? What is wanting to start to formulate? What is wanting to birth? And, where is this ancestral wisdom, or where is the wisdom that we are opening ourselves to that may be mastery from a previous lifetime? It also may be gifts from the divine, because we are now a safe vessel to allow for that energy to be downloaded. What I have noticed over the years is that there are certain times in our evolutionary path as humanity when a certain frequency code is ready to be gifted to the humanity in their journey. And whether you can look that is a download in technology, or whether it's a download in the creative arts, what it's got to have is a receptive place for that seeding to be received. It's like when I started working with the roses, there were very few people that were working with roses. I used to have to explain every time what this rose oracle did, and the fact that it wasn't for divination per se, it was a healing oracle, and having to understand and explain the sacred geometry of the roses and why and how they worked and why they were here at this point. And of course, it's now filtered into the consciousness much more widely on the planet that nature and the natural world is here to assist us. It's here to upshift us, and it's here to help us find the pathway that's absolutely perfect for our individual frequency. So, our roses for this new moon in Virgo: compassion. How can we hold even deeper, be an even deeper well of compassion for ourselves, for our families, for our loved ones, and for the earth? Compassion for the people who are suffering right now because there is seismic activity, or there's floods that have affected so many. And this is a reminder to hold an ever deeper sense of compassionate kindness. And as I say, this reminds me very much of Kuan Yin, and Kuan Yin and the lotus, which is the Eastern aspect of the rose. So what you would see the rose in with Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene as a symbol, the lotus will be the symbol that connects with Kuan Yin, but they hold the same frequency of compassion and kindness as a prerequisite to a passage that connects with the heart and connects with love. And then these two, and they're offering us this insight about being receptive and being also in honor and in gratitude for the teachings that we have received along the pathway. This, in her place in the Rose BaGua, or in the BaGua per se, this feng shui terminology of the BaGua, she is this place of wisdom, the ancestors, teachers, the wisdom keepers. And can we honor the wisdom keepers and the teachers that we've had along our path? The significant people that have changed perhaps the trajectory of our lives, or have opened us up to aspects of ourselves or aspects of our journey that we hadn't connected with before, but also in connecting in an ever deeper level with the higher keys and codes of light, higher aspects, higher dimensional aspects of ourselves that would be also part of our monad self, our overlighting higher soul self, and being open to receive. This rose is asking us to open to receive, and this rose is saying, in the receptivity, what are you going to create? What are you going to activate? What is calling? What has been seeded within you that now wants to take form? And this, in this Virgo new moon, and Virgo is an earth sign, she's calling us to say what seeds are being planted. And are they in fertile soil? Are they ready to grow? So there we go. Our 3 roses for this particular new moon. And the Alchemy Crystal Bowl, Super 7, Androgynous Indium. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. Thanks, Mel. Oh, and thanks, Joanna. Yeah. And here is the little Koshi chime. For our new moon in Virgo. Go well and enjoy the new moon energies in the early hours of tomorrow morning here in the UK. And just be aware of the energies as we move towards the equinox. The equinox is going to be another powerful window for us to navigate our way through, another energetic portal. And that really sets us up as we go through to the winter solstice. And that will be supercharged this year, without a doubt. We are in such fast-moving times. Thank you for joining me. I'm really delighted to be here this evening. And in case you're wondering, the rose that's behind me is Heart Star 2, and she is the gold ray of wisdom. And she's a beautiful energy to feel behind me. She comes in she's a big scarf, and they can be stretched on canvas, or they can just be hung. They hung up on the wall with a couple of pins. They change the energy of a room and upshift it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and new moon blessings.